Okay, I'm aware my hair looks really yellow. I used a different toner and it didn't really do what I wanted it to do, but my hair's so dead, like I don't even want to tone it again. So like we're just gonna kind of wait and let it figure itself out, and then I'm gonna tone it again. There's a couple things that I wanted to address before I really start talking about anything. The first thing I wanted to address is DARVO, DARVO, which is an acronym that stands for deny, attack, and then reverse victim and offender roles. This isn't just used in like abusive relationships. It can also be used like politically. It can be used for like custodial battles. Like it can be used for a lot of different things. It is something that is it can be used by perpetrators of interpersonal violence, and they do this to basically attack the victim's credibility and make people question whether or not to believe the victim. That is the goal of DARVO. I am reading off of an academic research article. I'm going to put it in the description. Studies have found that outside participants, when they see an abuser use DARVO to discredit the victim, they are more likely to see the victim as less believable, more responsible for the violence, and also more abusive. But it has been found that educating people about these manipulation techniques can result in outside participants who know about DARVO and like its uses are less likely to be influenced by it. It's used to deflect blame and responsibility when, they're confronted with their abusive behavior. When used, a perpetrator denies or minimizes the harm of any wrongdoing, attacks the victim's credibility, and reverses the victim and offender roles such that the perpetrator assumes a victimized position and declares that the victim is actually the true perpetrator. The article that I'm talking about talks about a couple different perpetrator tactics. One of them is outrage management, which is a term that represents a set of techniques that are employed by perpetrators that mitigate observers' negative evaluations of both the perpetrator and their behavior. This is done typically in order to avoid facing consequences of their actions. Techniques include casting doubt onto the credibility of the victims, denying the victims' versions of events, or reframing them so that they appear more innocuous. Both outrage management and DARVO represent ways in which perpetrators will actively try to explain away and manipulate bystanders' understanding of abusive events. I also want to talk about therapy speak, which is the misuse of psychological terminology, which it can be used to manipulate other people. This article is just by Psychology Today, but I'm also going to link it. And it is about weaponizing mental health terminology. And we have always done this. It references like shell shock, stuff like that, hysteria, etc. But with the rise of social media, it's causing a lot of trouble right now. So it talks about in relationships. It says that the rise of therapy speak can basically be used to manipulate others to cater to our own needs instead of believing that we are responsible for our own needs. We are basically attempting to make sense of what other people are doing, but we're doing it in a way that isn't helpful. We're just kind of putting people in boxes that we don't really have the right to put them in, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so it's got some examples. What actually happened. My partner had friends that I did not like. In therapy speak, that would be, you are not honoring my personal boundaries. Another example, my partner did not attend to what I was saying, but in therapy speak, that would be, you are so egocentric. Just stuff like that. I think it's a way for us to kind of try to add backing to our reasons why we dislike people or certain actions. We also can kind of use it as like a shield, because then it's like therapy speak is attempting to make it less opinionated and more like objective. But there are opinions. But by using these objective statements, we are trying to believe that our thoughts and feelings are fact, even if they're not. I thought these were very interesting topics to bring up because I think that she uses them a lot. We're going to start with responding to Beck, and I'm not watching the whole video because I think she's insufferable. So she's posting the Instagram Q&A clips talking about Beck into the vlog. That's where I'm at right now.
With them in almost 5 years. I am a completely different person than I was then, and I'm sure Beck is also a different person than they were then. Nothing was perfect, and I'm going to let you know that some of the things that Beck has said has been true, and some of the things have been flat out lies. No matter what I say, if I defend myself or not, people will choose to believe Beck. That is the way my whole YouTube career has gone. It's not going to be...
For context, I only started watching her. I really don't even watch her. I watch reaction videos of her. But I started watching her during the wifey / Faylene / Jade era. So I was not here when she was dating Beck. But I have looked back at those moments. And I think anyone with even a single brain cell could tell that Beck was noticeably very uncomfortable. Definitely on camera, but, and I don't really know Beck's pronouns, so I'm just going to use they, them. I think they go by they, them, but I'm not really sure. Amberlynn knows that people like Beck more than them. More than Amber. She knows that people like Beck more than they like her. So, she knows that if Beck comes out and talks about their experience being abused by Amber, then people are going to believe Beck. There is years of video footage of Beck looking noticeably uncomfortable with Amber. Beck trying to leave, and Amber telling them no. Amber holding things over their head, holding the fact that the animals, holding the animals over their head, holding money over their head, everything. There's years of that on video. You can watch the clips. Amber knows that people will believe Beck. Literally using fucking Darvo. She's denying it happened. That didn't happen. And if it did, Beck was mean too. She's attacking Beck, and then she's reversing the victim and offender roles. This is textbook manipulation tactics used by abusers.
Different now. So, I would rather people believe every single thing that they said just to protect my mental health from having to defend myself to a bunch of people who already have their opinion made up.
She's pretending to be the victim here. She throws the mental health card around a lot, which is partially why I brought up the therapy speak. I think that Amberlynn knows that a lot of her audience, I think a lot of people are mentally ill these days. I think that's just kind of what we've built. I'm on fucking pills. I think that she knows that a lot of people are very sensitive to that, which is why she throws it in everybody's face whenever people will be like, you're an abuser. She's like, actually, I have BPD. Just because you have BPD doesn't mean that you can't be an abuser.
To be honest, I would rather come clean about the stuff that's true than sit there and defend myself over the stuff that isn't true. I just realized that. I would rather be yeah, I'm gonna take full accountability. That did happen. Those things did happen. But the stuff that I have to defend myself on,
then do it.
Girl, I would rather sit in like a lava, like a bowl of lava, and just let my skin burn off at that point, like truly. And that genuinely stands. Like, some of the things that Beck is saying is actually leaving me so shocked. And I'm more than willing to take accountability and admit where I was wrong, literally 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and 7 years ago. Like, it's been so long since we've been together, and I'm just not the same person as I was. I think it's very apparent.
Just because it happened 5 years ago doesn't mean it didn't happen. Also, she's like 36. No, she's fucking 34. It happened 5 years ago. You were 29. Being 29 is not an excuse. I don't think that age is ever really an excuse to abuse somebody, but at least in like a legal standing. If you're like a minor and you commit a crime, they're usually like, you know, pretty, like they're more lenient about it. You are a whole ass adult.
Beck is responding to things where like I was at like a very vulnerable state. Things that we went through together, like having to do with my mobility and things like that, like that's not okay, like sharing those types of things. I understand wanting to like share like in the ways that I might have mistreated you as a girlfriend, which
She's playing the victim again.
I wasn't the greatest girlfriend back then. I can 100% like take accountability in that. But I think bringing up like my mobility issues, lying about certain things, exaggerating.
Another thing that people are very sensitive about that she is using to further push her narrative that Beck is a bad person. Even though that Beck was her caretaker, Beck did everything for her because they had no other choice. Also, Amberlynn has not made any of her other girlfriends do that shit. Even when she weighed more than she weighed while dating Beck. You're just gonna hear my cat scampering around. You have to ignore that.
To make certain things seem way worse than what they were. And like answering questions that genuinely have nothing to do with like sharing your side of the story. And it's more so just, for the lack of a better term.
She says this and then follows it up with like, but that's personal. I would argue that Amberlynn's taking advantage of how kind Beck was a mistreatment.
It just feels like a bunch of people just sitting there talking shit. How I feel doesn't matter. I'm not going to defend myself towards the lies, but I will take accountability for
But she doesn't.
More than anything in this current time, like I need to protect my peace. Like I was with Beck for almost 5 years, and there's a lot of things that they did or said or whatever that I could sit here and be like, well, guess what? Guess what they did? I can also share my side, but I'm not going to.
Okay, we're watching the other one now. I've already seen parts of this video. I'm not a reaction channel. It's not what I do. This shit pissed me off. Watching Mr. Snowflake, this shit pissed me off so bad. I was like I paused. Like I have other shit that I want to make. I have an assignment due tonight. I paused that. I was like, no. She's so like, dude. I don't even know if therapy will help at this point. Because, like, people like this, they go into therapy, and they manipulate the fucking therapist. Because, you know, get therapy. I don't even know if that's gonna help her. Because she's so, and she genuinely believes these things. Slight angle change, just ignore it. I had to plug my camera in.
Hello. So, welcome to a new video. It's actually February 7th at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I should be asleep.
She goes, it's February 7th. You put this video out February 16th? Yeah, February 16th. That's 9 days. And she does this thing where she's, oh my god, it's 3 a.m. I just had to talk about this. I had to talk about it. It's 3 a.m. If it bothered you that fucking much, why didn't you post it, like, immediately? Why did you wait? If it bothered you that fucking much that you had to film it at 3 a.m., why didn't you post it?
Sleep, but here I am awake, filming a video. I was actually getting ready.
Dude. She's so, like, insufferable. I should be asleep, but I have to film a video. The amount of shit she put Beck through. And then to act like waking up or staying awake till 3 a.m. so she can film a video responding to the victim talking about their experience being abused is insane. It's so, like, girl, like, read the fucking room.
To get comfy and try to sleep, My sleeping hasn't been the greatest. I've just been having a lot of anxiety, and when I have a lot of anxiety, I go to sleep really late, and I genuinely hate it. Something I've suffered with majority of my life. But anyways, I could have totally slept in.
I don't really think it matters though all that much, because like she doesn't work. Does it really matter? Like, she doesn't have to get up for anything. Whatever. I'm just being a bitch.
Waited till tomorrow to film this, but I think it's just so heavy that like I have to do it now so I can just be completely done with it. I watched Beck's new video that they posted tonight or today or whatever, but it was a new one. So that video genuinely shocked me, and it made me feel stupid and dumb, and it made me realize that like the way that I viewed our relationship was completely wrong, and I was oblivious to a lot of things, even to the extent of the way that I treated them. So I want to be accountable in that. But this is just the example that I saw in their newest video, where
this is very like, oh, I didn't know I was being abusive. Beck should have told me. I'm gonna bring up Darvo again. Don't make me bring up fucking Darvo again. She's deflecting the blame on to the person that she abused. That's insane.
It made me look back and be like, yeah, like we both actually viewed this relationship completely different. Our new video, they
I've seen that video.
To a compilation video of me being rude
that
to
was
them
actually
for 10
the
minutes
video
straight.
That made me like Beck. Beck is my favorite of Amberlynn's partners. I really like Beck. Even before they came out with all this stuff, like when they just kind of like disappeared, they've come back to the internet like a couple years ago. But I really like Beck. I think they're cool. I trust Beck. Like, I don't really see a reason why they would lie about being abused by her when she was so like just like degrading towards everything. And maybe there's dogs downstairs and they're barking. Maybe it's because like I'm also a nerd, but whenever Amberlynn would like, ew, anime, why are you dating them then? If you're just gonna like be a bitch, go away. You know?
Beck stated multiple times that it's obvious that they didn't want to be on camera, and they said, oh, look at me zoning out while she's talking. And it's like both of those things like genuinely hurt, and it made me realize like I didn't even notice these things.
You had to film this stuff, and then you had to go back and you had to watch it while you edited it. You tear it apart, cut it up, move shit around. And you, like, never noticed the fact that they were, like, frowning? Completely, like, not wanting to be there at all. Not wanting you to be a bitch to them. And, like, make fun of them. Dude, I can't.
Just like how when I was in a relationship with them, I didn't notice how mean or rude I could come off until looking back, and I just feel super remorseful.
You had to film, you had to edit it, you had to post it, you had to read the comments of people being like, hey, maybe don't like body shame Beck.
I was so accustomed to them zoning out or seeming like they didn't want to.
The quotation marks are crazy. Zoning out. This was, I don't know if this exact moment, like this exact clip that she's referring to, because she doesn't put the video in because that'd be too much work. I know that there was like an era of time in Amberlynn's videos where Beck had to be medicated. I think they were misdiagnosed with bipolar and they were put on bipolar meds. Yes, I think they were driving a car, which is like the one thing that people ever like, you know, got mad at Beck about, and even they came out and they apologized and they were like, I shouldn't have done that. Lapse of judgment. I thought I'd be okay, but I wasn't. I don't understand how you're there and you're seeing all this and you just like don't give a shit. Because that's what it comes down to. I think she's incredibly selfish. I think she's one of the most openly selfish people online. I think she only cares about herself. And I think you can, you know, even the way that she treated Alexis and even the way that she treats her mom, everybody around her, everything that she does is for her own gain.
Be on camera that like that was normal.
Making sure my audio is
but I
still
didn't
recording.
know that the zoning out and the look on their face, etc., was like an indication that they weren't listening to me or that they didn't want to be.
Beck's over there like chronically dissociating in the corner, and Amberlynn's like, I didn't know.
Wasn't like I genuinely look stupid, but I guess like maybe I low-key deserve it.
Yeah, you do deserve it.
This relationship so differently actually makes it easier for me to be accountable and to apologize, because if that's the way that they truly viewed it, like I deeply apologize for that, and there's nothing I can do to change their opinions and their thoughts and their experience, because that's what they lived. I wasn't the greatest girlfriend. I wasn't
crazy understatement,
but I will say I'm not all good, I'm not all bad, and I wasn't that way then either. Like our relationship was definitely complex, and even though it might not be visible to the public or even to Beck in this moment, I have taken accountability for the things that I've done. And in the video, they even stated like, I don't want you to reach out to me. And that's very much why I haven't, because I wanted to respect those boundaries. But they said, I don't want an apology from you. I genuinely feel like Beck deserves an apology.
That's so kind of you. That's so kind.
If they don't want to accept it or hear it, then I have to be okay with that. I'm not going to apologize to the internet. The apology wasn't for you guys. It was for them. I feel like in this situation, like this type of accountability should be handled in private, just like the apology should have. And this sort of
handled in private is crazy. She's been shit talking Beck for the past like 5 years. Every second that she gets the opportunity to shit talk Beck, she does it. So this should be handled privately is insane. Because where was that mentality when you were telling the internet about like how much you didn't love them? I guess we only handle things in private when Amberlynn is the one who's uncomfortable about it.
Discussion that is like happening between back and forth with us, like these things should be happening in private. And it's like when personal matters like this are brought onto like a public platform, I feel like
you put it on first.
Like I have to defend myself or I have to say something. But it's like I'm not
girl, just say sorry
and go through every single thing that they said, like every single claim, every single this or that, because that is just gonna fuel negativity. I truly don't feel like the back and forth is productive for either of us. But if they truly feel like sharing their story is what is gonna help them in the long run, then go for it. But I have to genuinely step away. Like I said, I wasn't going to speak about them, and that was standing. But like hearing all of these things being said, it's been hard for me, because it's like I have shown growth in my personal life, and it's hard to like
I don't think she has though.
Publicly,
she hasn't.
Things that like was happening behind the scenes.
Was.
So publicly, I might look the same to you guys, but I have changed a lot. I am always open for growth and for changing to be a better person every single day. And I want to reflect on the past more, because that actually genuinely helps me see.
I misspeak all the time. All the time. I pronounce words wrong. I say things in the wrong tense. All the time. If I'm in public, I correct myself. If I'm filming, I redo the take. My big question, does she not know that that's the wrong tense? Or can she not be bothered to redo the take?
Ways that I need to improve and ways that I already have improved. And I just want to say that any time that I had Beck on my channel, it was never out of malice. I never meant to disrespect them, and I really, 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 really did love them. This might be a little tea because no one knows, but when
It's
Beck
not
and I
tea.
were just friends,
You like
while I was
abused
with
them.
Feline, and Feline did know this, don't worry. One night
Don't
I got
fucking
really, really
call
drunk.
abuse
And
allegations
I told
tea.
Beck, like, I really was in love with you and I still love you. Like, you're a great person. And I hyped them up because genuinely,
I thought that this shit wasn't our business.
I owe so much to them, and I have so much gratitude to them. They were there for me during some of the hardest moments of my life, i.e. when I was diagnosed with cancer. But I have never tried to show.
She blamed Beck for having cancer, by the way. So she's bringing this up right now. But when that all happened, even after, like years after, she said that it was Beck's fault because Beck didn't drive her to, even though Beck told her that she needed to go to a gynecologist, and I'm assuming offered to drive her because Amberlynn doesn't drive. Amberlynn refused to go.
Them in a certain way. Nothing was ever out of malice from the bottom of my heart, and I just really needed to make that clear. Honestly, all I can really do is just continue working on myself. My focus moving forward is to just ignore it all. Like, I wanted to take what Beck is doing and put it in like a positive way and put a positive spin to it and like be like, yeah, I am accountable. But at the same time, obviously, like, I do find frustrations in the ways that I feel like they are exaggerating or they have lied. I do firmly believe that two things can happen at once. I can be accountable, but I can also be frustrated. But
She
I'm not accountable
is making
and
people
frustrated
question
about
Beck.
the same things. Like everyone likes to say,
She's
there are three
saying
sides to
that
every
Beck
story. Their
over-
side, my side, the truth. And like a really good example of like people viewing.
Again, on Nervo, she is using this to make people question whether or not Beck is a credible, trustworthy source. Beck doesn't tell the truth. That's what she's saying right here.
Things differently, like kind of what's going on with like Blake and Justin. Blake feels like one thing happened, while Justin's like, no, that's not what happened.
I don't even know what this means.
So you know what? I can't even sit here and firmly be like,
I don't know
okay,
what
Beck is
she's
lying,
talking
because if
about.
they viewed it that way, then I have to accept that for what it is. Because what's true to someone and the way that they view something might not be true to everyone else in the room. I want to play devil's advocate.
It's true to everybody else. Everybody else except for you. Also, devil's advocate pisses me off.
Here for a second. If I'm remembering something wrong that Beck genuinely remembers as like a full truth, then that's fair as well, because I have really bad memory problems due to moments of high stress, trauma, BPD. When I have anxiety, sometimes I'll literally like black out because I'm so anxious.
I don't know. I mean, she's saying that her anxiety makes her black out. Is she talking about fight or flight? Is that like... Because even then, like, you still did it. You can't kill somebody and then... Oh, my fight or flight. I blacked out because my anxiety. You can't, that's not a defense.
Say whether my apology was behind a paywall, whether it was in a Snapchat, whether it's...
Also, putting an apology behind a paywall... I have no words.
It's in a YouTube video, or whether I say it to Beck
That's
directly,
like disgusting.
it is 100% sincere. And I have apologized to them personally, but that was years ago after our breakup. Beck and I was friends for about a year after we broke up. And obviously that didn't work out, which I understand, but I did apologize to them. I don't think that I took as much accountability as I do take now, because like I said, every day I like to reflect and just grow into a better person. So I'm not gonna sit here and list off every single claim that they said and write down like, okay guys, these are the things that are true and these are the things that aren't. These are the things that I'm accountable for. Like, there's no productivity in that, because whether the internet knows what I'm accountable for versus what I'm not accountable for, that doesn't bother me. The only
I think it's pretty important.
And them actually hearing me is Beck. And if they
like, people give you money, they should probably know. It's nobody else's business. You abused your partner. And you want people who go to work, like real jobs, to give you money. It doesn't matter. I think it does.
They don't want to, that's their prerogative. I'm okay with that. I want them to do whatever helps them. I'm not apologizing for myself. I'm apologizing to the person that I was in a relationship with for almost 5 years. And I hurt them, and I'm sorry for that. I really want to continue taking that experience and that relationship and learning from it. Beck can say absolutely anything from this point forward, and I am not going to respond. I
do think that she put this out because she knows that Beck has more to say. Like, she knows that more is going to happen. She knows that she did more shit to Beck. And that's why she's like, I already talked about it. I can't talk about it anymore.
Genuinely wish them nothing but the best. And the apology that I need to give to you guys, if I hurt any of you during this whole thing because you guys care for Beck, then I'm also sorry for that. I am a very flawed individual. That is not an excuse, but I'm a flawed individual that can learn
you don't
from
though.
This experience. And thankfully I have. Whether people see it or believe it, I know it because I am my own person and I know how I've been in past relationships. And as I've gotten older and more mature, and I've learned more about my BPD and just who I am as a person, I have become a better person, and I have become a better girlfriend. I've become a better friend.
She's not become a better girlfriend, first of all. She's not very good at it. She's not become a better friend. She ditched Alexis immediately. She's not become a better pet parent either. Her cat is probably dead because she decided it was a good idea to move her elderly animals across the country for a girl that she had never met. She also still hasn't gotten her pets microchipped. She should probably do that. It's $30. $30 a pet if you go to fucking Petco. You don't even have to take them to the vet.
I've become a better pet parent. I've become a better daughter. I've become a better sister, but I'm still flawed. I'm super complex and nuanced, just like we all are. And this just has to be the last time that I speak about this to protect my peace. And I hope that Beck does things that also protects theirs. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
I can't stand her. Oh, I had to pause back. I'm not an Amberlynn Reid channel. It's not what I do. I'm not a reaction channel. It's not what I do. This video pissed me off so bad that, like, I had to make my first video about Amberlynn Reid. I didn't really want to touch that with, like, a 10-foot pole because there's, like, so much going on there. Also, she does come off as very nice and personable. So I understand why people are like, oh, why would you give her shit? She has done so much and then, like, lied about it. But the funny thing is that there's, like, proof because she documents everything. She tattles on herself. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, I believe Beck fully. This video, convinced me even more that Beck is probably telling the truth. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I've never done a video like this, so let me know if it's shit. That's probably about it. Sorry if the microphone audio was kind of weird at some points. We have a gaggle of wiener dogs downstairs. But yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.